separately from the Lord is very strong.
Yeah.
Is tied by ropes of illusion. A man bound by the hands and feet cannot free himself. He must be helped by a person who is unbound. Because the bound cannot help the bound, the rescuer must be liberated. Therefore, only Lord Krishna, or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotion for Krishna consciousness can help one gain such a release. Krishna, being the Lord of illusionary energy, can order his insurmountable energy conditioned soul. He orders this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul and eternal affection. Oh, like that? Okay. Oh, where was it?
He orders this release.
He orders his release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul and out of his paternal affection for the living entity who is originally a beloved son of the Lord. Therefore, surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from the clutches of this stringent material nature.
Okay, so the Christians make a mistake because they say Christ is the only son. Ordinary man can have 10 sons, but they say God only has one son, my beloved son. But no, that's the wrong idea. Robert qualifies, he said he's the only obedient son. At the time, he was obeying God. The others weren't. So he's the only son in that sense, only good son, only obedient son. But otherwise, the majority of living entities never come to the material world. But they have no information about this. So therefore they make Christ God. Okay, next, keep reading. Oh, you need to have a microphone.
What's that?
The words Mameva are also significant. Mam means unto Krishna, Vishnu only, and not Brahma or Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated and are almost on the level of Vishnu, it is not possible for such incarnations of Rajoguna, passion, and Tamoguna, ignorance, to release the conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya. In other words, both Brahma and Shiva are also under the influence of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Therefore, he can alone give release to the conditioned soul. The Vedas confirm this in the phrase Tvam eva viditva, or freedom is possible only by understanding Krishna. Even Lord Shiva affirms that liberation can be achieved only by the mercy of Vishnu. Lord Shiva says, Mukti pradata sarvesham Vishnur eva na samsayaha. There is no doubt that Vishnu is the deliverer of liberation for everyone.
Okay. Verse again. Who can read? Go ahead. But you don't have a microphone. Isn't this going out to people? How many people are listening? Huh? 6. Okay, go ahead.
Taivihyesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante mayametang tarantite. Translation. This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it.
Again, difficult and easy in one verse. But we want to take the easy path. This is a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself has come to teach us the easiest way to surrender. What is that? Follow four regular principles, chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada is the Senapati. He's the great commander or powerful general in the Lord Chaitanya's movement. Once he was asked, Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya only spread this movement in India, but you spread it all over the world. Why, are you greater than Lord Chaitanya? And he said, no. Lord Chaitanya wanted to give me the credit. So he's not God, but he's done superhuman work. Therefore, we should keep him in the center because he'll be merciful to us. We saw it practically. He was merciful to everyone. Even at the end, he said, if I made any mistake, I accepted too many nonsense disciples. He was very liberal. He accepted. He bent over backwards, trying to accommodate us in our Western ways and so on. I saw it personally up close. We shouldn't take advantage of Prabhupada's liberalness. He was very liberal. He accepted everyone. And he cautioned us, strictly follow. Okay? Let's go to one more verse.
Namam dushkritin.
I'm lost there. Somehow I lost it. I'll give you the. Yeah, okay, that's right. Namam duskatina mudha prabhadyante naradama mayaya parita jnana ashuram bhavama shritam. Translation: those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. So first he's telling those who don't surrender to Krishna, who have to remain in the material world. Report. Go ahead.
It is said in Bhagavad Gita that simply by surrendering oneself unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality, Krishna, one can surmount the stringent laws of material nature. At this point, a question arises. How is it that educated philosophers, scientists, businessmen, administrators, and all the leaders of ordinary men do not surrender to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the all-powerful personality of Godhead? Mukti, or liberation from the laws of material nature, is sought by the leaders of mankind in different ways, and with great plans and perseverance for a great many years and births. But if that liberation is possible by simply surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then why don't these intelligent and hardworking leaders adopt this simple method?
Why don't they? It's a good question. Because they don't want to. You have to want to. Desire. In other words, the key is desire. Want. By desire, you've come here. You wanted to come here because you thought you'd have an advantage here. Why should I always put Krishna in the center? I want to be in the center. And then you come. Okay, here's your chance. Put yourself in the center and see if you're happy. But no, it's not possible. Therefore, they're singing, I can't get no satisfaction. Because there is no satisfaction in this material world. It's made to be problematic. Dukalayam, Krishna said, Dukalayam ashashvatam. Not only is it problematic, but it's temporary. So give up this attempt, futile attempt, to be happy in this world. Go ahead. The Gita answers this question.
The Gita answers this question very frankly. Those really learned leaders of society like Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, the Kumaras, Manu, Vyasa, Devala, Asita, Janaka, Prahlad, Bali, and later on, Madhva-acharya, Ramanuja-acharya, Sri Chaitanya, and many others, who are faithful philosophers, politicians, educators, scientists, etc., surrender to the lotus feet of the Supreme Person, the all-powerful authority. Those who are not actually philosophers, scientists, educators, administrators, etc., but who pose themselves as such for material gain, do not accept the plan or path of the Supreme Lord. They have no idea of God. They simply manufacture their own worldly plans and consequently complicate the problems of material existence in their vain attempts to solve them. Because material energy, nature, is so powerful, it can resist the unauthorized plans of the atheists and baffle the knowledge of planning commissions.
So this we see practically. It's been going on, trying to solve the problem of material existence. Just this way, then more people will be happy. But it doesn't solve the real problem. The real problem is I have to die. I don't want to die. I remember I had a devotee friend who was a nurse, and he was working in a rich neighborhood with a hospital, and many rich people were there. And there was this man. He wasn't so old, 50 years old, but he had some terminal disease, brain cancer or something. So he was on the terminal ward, where those who were doubtful they can recover. And he said he heard him at night, this man. I don't want to die. No, I don't want to die. Yeah, but you're going to die anyway, whether you want to or not. So what is the use of being in such a place where everybody has to die? Therefore, you should seek out this mukti. Mukti means we skip over the head of death. No more death. Of course, we all guard one death, but this will be our last death. Then you can go back to Godhead. Okay? Keep reading. You need a microphone. You got it? The atheistic plan makers.
The atheistic plan makers are described herein by the word duskritina, or miscreants. Kritina,
not Kritina, Kriti.
Kriti, means one who has performed meritorious work.
Meritorious.
The atheist plan maker is sometimes very intelligent and
Meritorious.
meritorious.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
You got it.
Also, because any gigantic plan, good or bad, must take intelligence to execute. But because the atheist's brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker is called
Duskriti.
Kriti, which indicates that his intelligence and efforts are misdirected.
Okay. Comments, question? Yeah.
I just wanted to make a comment on what you were saying about the man who had brain cancer and he had to die. That was like really powerful because I know exactly what that, not exactly, but like I've been that scared for myself. Even like when I was young, I was scared of the dark, and if somebody put me in a dark room, I would think like, oh my God, I'm gonna die here. But yeah, the way you said it made me think like, wow, this is like, I don't know, it's just like it hits, it's really deep, you know, like it's a very real fear that everyone has.
Okay. Who's next? The next. The Mudas are those who are grossly foolish, like hardworking beasts of burden. They want to enjoy the fruits of their labor by themselves. They do not want to part with them for the Supreme. The typical example of the beast of burden is the ass. The humble beast is made to work very hard by his master. The ass does not really know for whom he works so hard day and night. He remains satisfied by filling his stomach with a bundle of grass, sleeping for a while under fear of being beaten by his master, and satisfying his sex appetite at the risk of being repeatedly kicked by the opposite party. The ass sings poetry and philosophy sometimes, but this braying sound only disturbs others. This is the position of the foolish fruit of workers who do not know for whom he should work. He does not know that karma, action, is meant for yajna, sacrifice. But this also Krishna, Arjuna even didn't know. He had to hear Bhagavad Gita. He was thinking, I don't want to fight because I'll get bad karma. But he didn't know. Working for Krishna, you don't get any karma. Karma is like a chain. It's keeping us here. Good karma, bad karma. We read in the 14th chapter. Even good karma, Prabhupada says, is that the disadvantage is that you have to remain in the material world. You may have a good position, but again, you have to be put in the womb. And again, you get pushed out. And again, you grow old and so on. No, we want to get free from the whole cycle of birth and death, samsara. That's possible in this human form. Therefore, there's opportunity. And we have everything favorable. Not only we have human form, like these cats are out here. We can't preach to the cat, come and understand. No, they can't understand. But human beings can understand. So that's a very favorable factor we have. Second favorable factor, by some good fortune, we met a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada. And we are experiencing him. He's here on the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then everything is favorable. And he's left us an institution that we should cooperate together and preach this message of Lord Chaitanya. So it's easy for us, but we have to do our share. Okay, next.
Most often, those who work very hard day and night to clear the burden of self-created duties say that they have no time to hear the immortality of the living being. So such mudas, material gain, which are destructible, are all life's all in all, despite the fact that the mudas enjoy only a very small fraction of the fruit of labor. Sometimes they spend sleepless days and nights for fruit of gain, and although they may have ulcers or indigestion, they are satisfied with practically no food. They are simply absorbed in working hard day and night for the benefit of illusory masters. Ignorant of their real master, the foolish workers waste their valuable time serving Mammon. Unfortunately, they never surrender to the supreme master of all masters, nor do they take the time to hear of him from the proper sources. The swine who eats the soil do
Night
not.
soil means like stool.
The swine who eats.
Night soil.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have different. Sorry.
The swine.
The swine who eat the
night soil. You
the
don't
nice soil. I have different words on mine. Sorry.
What does it say?
It says the swine who eat the soil do not care to accept sweet meats made of sugar and ghee.
Oh, it doesn't say night soil. Okay.
Similarly, the fool will entirely continue to hear of the sense enjoyable tidings of the flickering, mundane force that moves the material world to another class of Durksti or Miss.
No, let's just stop it. After every paragraph, we should stop and see if we can understand it better. Any comments, question? It's like we see these people at this next door, right? Foolish workers. And sometimes, I came out the other day at 4:15 and they were working. Two of them were working. I said, you guys don't sleep? What are they working for? What's their goal? Want to be happy, but you see. Okay, number 2, paragraph 2. Who's going to read?
Another class of Dushkritina or miscreant is called the Naradhama, or the lowest of mankind. Nara means human being, and Adhama means the lowest. Out of the 8.4 million different species of living beings, there are 4 lakh human species. Out of these, there are numerous lower forms of human life that are mostly uncivilized. The civilized human beings are those who have regulated principles of social, political, and religious life. Those who are socially and politically developed but who have no religious principles must be considered Naradhamas. Nor is religion without God religion, because the purpose of following religious principles is to know the supreme truth and man's relation with him. In the Gita, the personality of Godhead clearly states that there is no authority above him and that he is the supreme truth. The civilized form of human life is meant for man's reviving the lost consciousness of his eternal relation with the supreme truth, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who is all powerful. Whoever loses this chance is classified as an Naradhama. We get information from revealed scriptures that when the baby is in the mother's womb, an extremely uncomfortable situation, he prays to God for deliverance and promise to worship Him alone as soon as he gets out. To pray to God when he is in difficulty is a natural instinct in every living entity because he is eternally related with God. But after his deliverance, the child forgets the difficulties of birth and forgets his deliverer also, being influenced by Maya, the illusory energy.
So again, everybody you can see being packed up in the womb. It's very uncomfortable. You can't really move. The child tries moving, kicking, but he's stuck in that for a long time, dependent completely on the mother. So we don't want to have to go through that again. Next paragraph. Yeah.
So, out of the 8.4 billion species, we have 4 lakh human species, 400,000. So, is it based on their nature, that is the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, how it eventually
Yes.
how evolved a person is based on the level of goodness, passion, and ignorance what they carry? Is it the basis, Maharaj, or is there anything else added to it?
I can't quite follow. Can you translate?
There are 4 lakh human forms. So is it based
We
on?
got that. So what's the problem?
Yeah, the next one is, so it is primarily based on the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance what human beings carry. That is the basis on which the determination has been done.
That part I don't understand. What's he saying? Nobody understands. They're not the only one.
Am I too fast, Maharaj, or?
No, I just don't understand your language.
Yes, what I'm asking is, 4 lakh species are they just based on three modes, or are they only humans?
Um, he's asking if human beings are only affected by like the three modes. He's asking like what, like, so are they divided by the modes in the human form of life? Are they divided up by ignorance? This is passion. These people are goodness, or is that the only categorization in the modes? I guess is that right, Prabhuji?
No, because sometimes even those in the mode of ignorance can be delivered. So that requires good fortune. So how do you get that good fortune? That's by chance. If you connect with the devotee, then you have a good fortune. Greatest good fortune. We're wandering in the universe in time immemorial. But if we meet somebody like Srila Prabhupada, then that's a great good fortune. So even if somebody is in the mode of passion, if he meets and understands the value of a pure devotee, then he's very fortunate. Even he is in passion. I was in passion. I still am a little bit. So doesn't mean you have to be only. It's easier from goodness. That's true. But in Kali Yuga, nobody is in pure goodness. Who is in pure goodness? Iti Bhakti True Maharaj was. Prabhupada said about him. Because Prabhupada was giving him first initiation, second initiation right away. And then sannyas a couple of months later. And Tamala Krishna asked him, Prabhupada, he's a new man. We're giving him sannyas so soon. And Prabhupada said, no, even if he flows down, it will only be to the mode of goodness. So he was a very good boy. I mean, you could see it. So most of us, not so pure. Anyway, next paragraph.
It is a duty of guardians of children to revive the divine consciousness dormant in them. The 10 processes of reformatory ceremonies, as enjoined in the Manusmriti, which is the guide to religious principles, are meant for reviving God consciousness in the system of Varnashrama. However, no process is strictly followed now in any part of the world. Therefore, 99% of the population is Naradhama.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Bhakti True was that 1% who wasn't married. But I certainly am, and so many. But we can still make progress with that verse is there, 9:30. Even if one performs a bowel activity, if he's rightly situated, then he can make progress. So this became an issue in the Boston Istagosti. They discussed this question of Apichet Sudaracharo, which is 9:30, which says, even if one commits the most abominable activity, if he's rightly situated, he should be considered saintly. So the question came, well, who is rightly situated? And their conclusion was, one who is following four regular principles, chanting Hare Krishna, getting up, coming to Mangalarti, like that, then he's rightly situated. He's taking the medicine, so to speak. And when Prabhupada heard that, he said, yes, that's correct. It's not sentimental. We should be rightly situated. It means we're seriously, this is not like this boy on the bicycle. He's a good boy, but he's not rightly situated, you wouldn't say, at this point. But you men are living in the temple, coming every morning, and you're rightly situated. Okay, next. When the whole
population becomes Naradhama, naturally all their so-called education is made null and void by the all-powerful energy of physical nature. According to the standard of Gita, a learned man is he who sees in equal terms the learned Brahmana, the dog, the cow, the elephant, and the dog-eater. That is the vision of a true devotee. Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is the incarnation of Lord as Divine Master, delivered the typical Naradhamas, the brothers Jagai and Madhai, and showed how the mercy of a real devotee is bestowed upon the lowest of mankind. So the Naradhama who is condemned by the personality of Godhead can again revive his spiritual consciousness only by the mercy of a devotee.
keep going.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in propagating the Bhagavata Dharma or activities of devotees, has recommended that people submissively hear the message of the personality of Godhead. The essence of this message is Bhagavad Gita. The lowest among human beings can be delivered by this submissive hearing process only, but unfortunately, they even deny giving an oral reception to these messages. And what to speak of surrendering to the will of the Supreme Lord? Naradhamas, or the lowest of mankinds, will fully neglect the prime duty of the human being.
Okay, so it's clear. We see most people neglect it. We can't get them. How come there's only 5 or 6 of us here? Next one, 3.
The next class of Dushkritina is called
Maya Paritagyana.
Maya Parita Jnana, or those persons whose erudite knowledge has been nullified by the influence of illusory material energy. They are mostly very learned fellows, great philosophers, poets, literary, scientists, etc. But the illusory energy misguides them and therefore they disobey the Supreme Lord.
Go ahead.
There are a great number of Maya Prahata Jnanas at the present.
Try it. Maya Paritagyana.
Maya Prahata Gnana at the present moment, even amongst the scholars of the Gita. In the Gita, in plain and simple language, it is stated that Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is none equal to or greater than him. He is mentioned as the father of Brahma, the original father of all human beings. In fact, Sri Krishna is said to be not only the father of Brahma but also the father of all species of life. He is the root of the impersonal Brahman and Paramatma. The supersoul in every living entity is his plenary portion. He is the fountainhead of everything, and everyone is advised to surrender unto his lotus feet. Despite all these clear statements, the
Maya ya.
Mayaya Pahrata, Gnana deride the personality of the Supreme Lord and consider him merely another human being. They do not know that the blessed form of human life is designed after the eternal and transcendental feature of the Supreme Lord.
Keep going.
All the unauthorized interpretations of the Gita by the class of Mayaya Prahrita Gnana outside the purview of the Parampara system are so many stumbling blocks in the path of spiritual understanding. The deluded interpreters do not surrender.
Interpreters.
The deluded interpreters do not surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, nor do they teach others to follow this principle.
Go on.
The last class of Dushkritana is called Ashuram Bhavam Ashrita, or those of demoniac principles. This class is openly atheistic. Some of them argue that the Supreme Lord can never descend upon this material world, but they are unable to give any tangible reasons as to why not. There are others who make him subordinate to the impersonal feature, although the opposite is declared in the Gita. Envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the atheist will present a number of illicit incarnations manufactured in the factory of his brain. Such people, whose very principle of life is to decry the personality of Godhead, cannot surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Sri Yamunacharya Albandru of South India said, O my Lord, you are unknowable to persons involved with atheistic principles despite your uncommon qualities, features, and activities, and despite your personality being confirmed by all the revealed scriptures in the quality of goodness, and despite your being acknowledged by the famous authorities renowned for their depth of knowledge in the transcendental science and situated in godly qualities.
Go on.
Therefore, first, grossly foolish persons, second, the lowest of mankind, third, the deluded speculators, and fourth, the professed atheists are, as above mentioned, never surrender unto the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead in spite of all scriptural and authoritative advice.
Question, comment? Okay, it's very clear. As the blue sky is clear. Shri Prabhupada ki. Bhagavad Gita ki. Mangalati.